If you wanted to do what we did here, you could put it sideways. So let's say you want to feature these flowers down here at the bottom. As long as you have enough to wrap it to the back, and you have plenty, this is going to look like the flowers are blooming up out of the bottom of your canvas. If you would rather have these bits up here that look like they're kind of dripping down, or you really like the pink, you can move it up there and do it like that. So this is 40 inches tall, which means I can take my selvage to selvage and drape it over the top, okay? And I can feature these two daisies right in the middle of my canvas, okay? I can have that one, but what I'm planning on doing, because I've got 64 inches, is I'm gonna do one in this color, and then I'm gonna separate out. So if you get a 24 by 40, roughly, canvas, you can actually do both colors. Since I wanna have both of these pieces of fabric, I wanna make sure, I'm gonna double check, if I fold this in half, make sure that I've got enough fabric to get both prints, and I do. So what you want to check for is that you have at least enough fabric to go around to the back, and we do. We have enough to go top to bottom because it's selvage to selvage. So I'm going to take this apart. I'm going to rip this. So if we want to make sure that we're going to center this, so here's kind of the middle of our design. I can fold the fabric. I can see it from the back. So I can fold it kind of right down the middle of that, those cherries right there. Okay. So then I can take this. If you wanted to be really perfectly accurate, you could measure both sides. I'm probably not going to do that, but you can. You can measure the center of your canvas, and you can line up the middle. You can line up the top, and I have it where I want it. So now we're going to flip her over. We're going to use a, what, did you put 1/4 staples in here or 3/8?
I think they're 1/4 inch.
Okay.
Because you're going into wood, it doesn't need to go that far to hold, you know, a piece of fabric down.
You don't need hardcore staples. All right. They don't have to be really deep. Plus, they're harder to put in if they're longer, okay? So we're going to take the middle of our canvas. Hot tip when you're working with these things, instead of setting it out this way where you don't have a base under it, set it this way where the staple gun can rest on the wood. And then you want to staple it not too close to the edge, but kind of in the middle of this space out here. I always anchor from side to side. I'm going to put one staple here, and then I'm going to stretch it. You don't want to pull it, but you want to make it taut on the other side.
You want to lay flat, but you don't want to separate the threads.
Right. You don't want to distort the shape of the print. So I'm always going to go from this side to this side, wrap it around, do your two sides. Then we're going to do our top and our bottom. Same thing. Don't distort the print. Don't yank on it, but pull it taut. If you're pulling on it and the fabric's moving, because there's probably a fold under there somewhere. Fabric is fluid, so get it to do what you want. Okay, so we're going to staple in these 4 anchors. Before I put this last one in, I'm going to pick it up and make sure that nothing's crazy. Okay, so we've got everything laid out flat. There's no folds. Normally I would have ironed this before I started, but honestly that wrinkle's going to fall out as it hangs on the shelf over time. All right, so we're going to staple our 4 corners, our north, south, east, and west. Here's where people get cranky, is the corners. So when you're doing the corners, it's not going to be like putting binding on a quilt where you do one side and then you fold the other side over. What you're going to do instead is you're going to find the corner, and you're going to take this piece of fabric and pull it over the corner and make it flat. You only have to make it flat enough to get the stapler in there and put one staple in. Then you're going to do your miter thing. When this is flat, now you can take your fabric and you can pull it up at sort of a 45-degree angle. Get it flush there in the corner, pull it over, and then staple it. So what you're doing is you're kind of doing like a tortilla fold, okay? So see how the corner is all sort of enveloped there? That's what you're going for. Let me turn this way. Okay, so you really just need 3 staples in your corner, okay? Once you get all your corners put together, I'm not gonna make you watch me do all 4 corners because you can just repeat that. Once you get it here, see, I'm not gonna bother to cut this all off. You can, if you don't like it, just take scissors and cut it off, or you could just leave it there. It's just gonna hang. And the last thing you're gonna do is these straight sides over here. So you've got your anchor, you know, north, south, east, and west. You've stapled down all your corners. Then I do what I call split the difference. So somewhere in the middle of the sides, I'm gonna put one. And then I'm gonna put one here and one here. You don't have to staple this to death. So that's it. If I wanted to see it the other direction, and honestly, that's why I have all these nails in here, because I had one thing hanging this way and then I changed my mind. And you can put it that way. Okay? Yeah, I know it's not done, but I'm going to finish it after this. So